Good morning, Everstrong family, and happy Friday, October the 3rd. So, today, as far as scripture goes, I'm currently in the book of Genesis, chapter 30, but I wanted to go back to chapter 22 real quick just to revisit something. So, to give a little backstory for anyone who doesn't know, Abraham and his wife Sarah were given a promise by God when they were already old that they too would bear a son. And Sarah kind of laughed it off, but Abraham genuinely believed, and for that, God counted him as righteous and he blessed him. So when Abraham was 100 years old and Sarah was 90, they had their very first child, Isaac. And you go a little bit forward to chapter 22, and God decided to test Abraham's faith. I'm only going to read the first three verses because that's how easy it is to get to the point. Chapter 22. Sometime later, God tested Abraham's faith. Abraham, God called. Yes, he replied, here I am. Take your son, your only son, yes, Isaac, whom you love so much, and go to the land of Moriah. Go and sacrifice him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains, which I will show you. The next morning, Abraham got up early. He saddled his donkey, took two of his servants with him, along with his son Isaac. Then he chopped wood for the fire for a burnt offering and set out for the place God had told him about. Notice how in there, there was no, but why, God? Or, but you promised, God. Or, I have to think about this. No, there was no argument at all. Not at all. God had promised Abraham, that you would bear a child in your old age. And on top of that, he also promised Abraham that Isaac would be the father of many. In fact, their descendants would be so many that they could not even be counted, as though they were the dust on the earth. Abraham knew this, and he knows God doesn't break his promises. But still, whether or not that was the case, he did as he was told. There was no argument, there was no questioning God's judgment, nothing. He just simply got up, prepared the things he needed, grabbed his two servants and Isaac, and went to the place he was told to go to. I look at that as being an immeasurable demonstration of faith, because how often do we go, why God? Mike Magalia, I believe is his name. He's another YouTuber that I absolutely adore. He says, I want to change, from why God to wow God. That was the situation with Abraham. He didn't ask, he didn't question, he didn't rationalize. He just simply did what he was told. And he knew God would provide a way, whether that was resurrecting Isaac or anything. We don't know what Abraham was thinking, but we knew that he knew God would make the way. So I want us to think about that. No matter how difficult our trials are or anything like that, just remember that God always is there. He never fails, and he never